Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This week's video is about a boy, a dog, and a wannabe welder. So I'm the boy, you're about to meet the dog, and well, you're about to see my welding. So here's the thing, I'm just learning how to be a welder. I'm not taking any classes. I don't really know what I'm doing. Please, creative input would be helpful. If I'm doing something wrong, tell me in the comments. If I'm doing something right, hey, give me a thumbs up. So you've met Mabel. Well, we made a new friend. Friend, say hello to YouTube. This is Mabel.
Every morning, she got to come over and she's had her eggs with a little bit of cheddar cheese in it for breakfast because she's spoiled. And she likes to come over and just lean against me and you get a little head rub and yeah, she's a good girl. Are we gonna make you a doggy gate so you can come to the office? Yeah.
She's great, isn't she? We want to start bringing her to the office. And so today's project is going to be, let's build a baby gate, doggy gate, whatever kind of gate you want to call it. Something that I can put on my office door, keep the dog in my office and not in the rest of the offices, the lunchroom, furniture showroom, the tile showroom, the cabinet showroom. The building's wide open. We're trying to build a safe environment for the dog to hang out with us during the day, and she can be socialized with them and not at home all by herself all day. Let's build a gate. I've got some measurements in mind. The door is 36 inches wide, the door jamb, and I want to build it high enough that she's not going to try to jump over it. And I'm going to use what I got. Here's what I got. These are metal racks. They used to have samples in them. They would stand up and they would have samples that would go in each of these racks here. It's pretty substantial metal. I'm going to use these. I'm going to cut these off, the U-shaped pieces. I'm going to cut them off the sides. I'm going to use the two sides as my top, my bottom, my left, and my right side. And I'm going to use all these as hopefully some kind of decorative inlay that connects them all. So the first thing I got to do is flip them over, and there's a weld here on every one of these. They were welded on the back side, not the front. So I'm going to try to take a grinder and just cut these welds, get all these little pieces out of here. So give me a couple minutes to get these taken apart and we'll see where we are. Those welds are on there pretty good. Kind of looked like a real fast production job, and I wasn't sure that well, they were going to hold that well, but they're welded in there pretty good. So it's going to take me a little bit of time. I'm going to put you on whatever the thing is, time lapse, and let you watch me cut these up a little bit more. So what we end up with is a bunch of these U-shaped pieces. I think it'd be fun to kind of figure out a way to link them all together and make some kind of a cool design that goes across the gate. You know, if we brought these in a little bit and spread them out a little bit and did what we had to do, and what would it take to get to 36 inches? Well, it's 40, so might want to tighten that up a little bit. But at the same time, we want to make sure we don't leave so much space that she's trying to get herself through one of these. Well, that's 34 by the time we did the sides and everything on it. I think that would work quite nicely, and then maybe we can do another set of these and then put a small gap in between them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, two single bars, and then a doubles. I don't know, we're going to play with it a little bit and see what we can come up with. So I think the overlapping thing is going to work in our favor. Of course, that's going to have a lot of different weld points to it, and we can, you know, bring it in a little smaller if we want. Larger holes, smaller holes. What I'm probably going to do is lay out on the OSB the size of the door, and I'll build a frame out of 2x4s. That's the maximum I want the door to be, and then I'll build the frame pushing out to that the whole time. Remembering again, I'm not a welder by trade, so I bought some gear. I've been teaching myself. You watch me do a couple projects on here. I'm just learning. Just learning by doing is how I've always done things. I learn it by doing it. So I'm excited to try this and just see what I come up with. Let me keep cutting this thing apart. Top and bottom, 12 little arches. So I'm gonna bring the chops over here and I'm gonna cut these all on the ends of them. They still have the weld there. And I don't want sharp, you know, dog's gonna be sticking his nose or her nose through here, undoubtedly. So let's not have sharp edges. So I'm gonna go ahead, bring the chops over here. We're gonna cut all these the same height. I'm gonna use these for the top and bottom. So I'm gonna get my width. I don't know what my height will be. I'm going to leave that kind of open for now. I'll cut this other one apart. I'll get on camera here, get it cut apart, and then I'll make my size once I've established height this way. So let's get the top one. Thinking the new shop. That's right, getting a new shop. I think what I want to do is I want to take this and put it on a rolling tool stand. Same with the grinder. Just have a grinder stand. So when I'm doing stuff like this, I can just roll it up towards the bay door and have all my sparks and my debris shooting out the door instead of staying here in the warehouse with me. I think that's a cleaner way to do it. I'm not going to measure and cut every one of these. I'm just going to take this here and I'm going to line it up with the little ridge in the saw, push it against there, and that'll be my cut. Got rid of all the weld off the end. Very easy to replicate, just there to there. Is anybody taking notes how we did that? That's what it was. And then we're going to lay this out so that we've got this. I know I said these are going to be my tops and bottoms, and they are. I'm just using it for product size. That's 36 and a half right there, and I think we're going to be 36. Now the next one, I think I'll mimic it upside down. You get the idea. So we'll do 3 of these panels. I'll set them up on the template so they're exactly the same width, top, bottom, all the way across. So if we get 3 of these made up, same length, then these will be the 3 intermediates that go between here and here. And I think that's going to be a pretty cool little doggy gate. We might cut a couple more of these and just pop one there and pop one here. I know we're going to play with that. But ideally, this thing's going to be welded 11 inches, 11 inches, 11 inches. Same on the other side. The bottom and the top won't be. They'll be welded to these guys here. But I think there's going to be a lot of structural strength from the left side to the right side, top and bottom. I think we're going to have a fairly strong gate here. I won't know until I try it. So I'm not a metal guy, right? I'm just playing with it. I'm just learning it. So, you know, maybe my structure is not ideal here. But I think by the time I weld the 4 outside, 4 1x2s welded together make a frame. I think on its own that's going to have a lot of structural strength. I think all these bars going between with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, each bar has 6 welding points. That's 18 welding points plus the 11-inch welds on the ends of them. I think we're going to have a pretty strong gate here. I don't know. I'm going to build it. When I'm done with it, I'm going to look at it, admire it. If I love it, I'll love it. If I don't love it, if it's not strong, then we're just going to build something else. That's the whole idea of building things in the shop is you might not hit a home run every time, but you have fun and you learn something every time. I mean, you're winning. As long as you're learning something every time, you're winning. Okay, so maybe a couple of quick 45s so I got my head in the game here. My blade's wearing down, so it's smaller, so it won't go all the way through. Do I have another blade here? Not right now, I don't. So you just fur it back with a scrap of wood. That'll keep it parallel to your fence. Here we go. Just like that. Now some of you that are more astute and not sleeping will notice the way I cut that 45. And you'll say, hey, originally you were going to lay the flat out like this on the door jamb and across the top. So the 45 should have been cut this way. Correct. I've changed my mind. I'm going to go this way. And why? It's because it gives me a bigger welding surface on the angle, which I think overall will make the whole product stronger. Now let's say this is the side. I found some hinges in my old toolbox. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hinge and I'll weld it with a little bit of a reveal of the hinge showing on this side here. I can plug weld these 3 holes, but down this edge and on the back edge I can weld it. So basically the weld's gripping all 3 sides of the pipe. It's kind of thick wall as it is, but I don't want to just grab one edge and then have that as a point where it's going to get weak and the hinge is going to eventually snap off. So I'm going to put the hinge centered thusly, so I can weld down this side and get this side of the metal. I can plug weld on this side, and then I can weld on the inside here and really grab hold of that hinge. Those hinges are old. They're out of an antique something or other. Is this going to make me wider on the sides? Yes, it is. So I'm going to have to bring in that pattern a little bit. But remember, we were playing with that, and we can extend or contract a little bit. All it's going to end up doing is making some of the boxes a little bit smaller. That won't be a problem because, well, it just won't be a problem. Okay, I flipped the grinder over to a flapper disc, and the reason is when you cut, you get a lot of junk on the ends of your cuts. So this particular type of metal saw kind of burns through a little bit, leaves some shards. So I'm just going to clean up those edges. When I cut my 45s, I want to make sure that I've got a really good, accurate measurement. So I got a measurement of 35 3/4 is my overall door. I got to remember I got to leave room in here for the hinge. And I want a little bit of clearance so the door doesn't jam up on the jamb when it's trying to close. This hinge is going to add about 3/16 of an inch. And then if I want a 1/4 inch on either side, well, that's a 1/2 and 3/16, that's 7/16. So if I want to go 7/16 less than 35 3/4, that's 34 and 15/16. Did I do that right? Pretty close. I'm going to get that out of that nicely. And it looks like I got 44 inches of working material on each one of these beams. So I'll easily be able to get my size out of them, cutting them with that longer angle. So I'm going to get this whole project done out of scrap steel. I'm going to have 12 of these left for whatever. And I ended up with 2 of these big old plates. That was the nameplate for the, and that's 1/8 inch steel. Have you been to the steel store lately? Ain't cheap. Use what you got. Don't throw anything out. We're going to put just a little bit of tape on here because, well, I got black pipe and black marker, and yeah, pretty sure you all see what the problem is there. It's my point right there, and I'm angling back this way. I always like to mark not just my point, but which way I'm angling, so you don't accidentally throw it in the saw and cut it the wrong way. Do that with baseboard and crown molding. And getting going on a Friday afternoon, save yourself a lot of money and waste materials. Nice clean surfaces to weld to. Got all those welds taken off of that. No more sharp points where you're going to cut yourself or a doggy's nose or pull out some nose hairs or whatever might happen to a dog putting his nose through her nose through a gate. Now for a guy that's not really a metal worker, I think my miters are pretty good. Cleaned them up nice, beveled them down a little bit for the weld to drop in there. But these are actually my two sides. They won't come together like that, but I just trued up my edges, and I really like the way they look. So how it's laying out is this is going to be the bottom. That's the top. Here's my little U-shaped things. I'm getting rather large holes here. I got 6 of them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some more of this rod that I've got cut, and I'm just going to cut a piece and separate each one of these 6 like that. I mean, I could do something cool. I could do a little V shape like that and like that, and then these could go, or they could all point up, but that would actually break up the size of the hole where, you know, the dog couldn't get through, give it a little bit of, I don't know, kind of more of an Aztec-y look, I think. I'm not sure, but that's where I got to tonight. All right, so we've got everything mocked up. It's time to start assembling. What I want to do is I'm going to make 3 panels. I want them all exactly the same, and they're going to be 30 7/8 by 10 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to nail down my workbench here real quick. Set the ends so that we know they're square. What I've done is I've made these pieces exactly 10 inches tall. I'll set my 30 7/8 measurement after I squared up the frame here a little bit. Now, so they're 30 7/8 is their length. And we can take all the elements and set them in here. You can tell already this is going to bend in just a little bit to be square. Now this will help me get my spacing. See, that can only go there, and this can only go here. So I don't have to worry about my spacing being different on each one of them. It'll be a regular repeat. I can make sure I'm square here, like that. I think that's going to work out really well. Then what we can do is we're going to put these guys in here. So to ground this, I've got the grounding clamp here, pinching that one, holding it to the side, and then what I'll do is hold this down. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's got a little bit of movement. Hold it down flat. I'm just going to tack, tack, tack. Right. Alright, so I'm being sloppy. Still trying to get my temperature right here. I think my wire feed's a little too hot. A little too much wire out there. My temperature was a little low. I'm going to pop up one more on the temperature. So, playing with it, just trying to get it. I'm going to go ahead and grind this down, make it look like it's supposed to look. I think a lot of guys would probably edit out their mistakes. I leave them in because I want you to know I'm learning. I'm not trying to come off as some professional here and tell everybody how to do things. I mean, for Pete's sakes, I'm using a piece of OSB as a welding table. I haven't built a welding table yet, so just, you know, it's for entertainment only. That's what we get. It's pretty solid. Now I'm burning it in right. I'll flip it over, try to do a little cleaner on this side here. Obviously I'm going to take a wheel to it, clean it up, make it perfect. And then we got to do it 2 more times. By the third one, it'll probably look pretty good. Alright, here we go. There's the 3 of them. There's something to notch right here. Just wondering what happens if we flip this for this. They're still awfully hot. Look at that, falling on the ground. They don't bust apart. The joints are solid. Pretty? No, but solid? Oh yeah, they're burnt in there well. So I haven't decided if I want to go all this side going up and all this side kind of like a chevron pattern. There we go. like that? Or do I want to make the second one, the middle one, different? I don't know. We'll have to think about that, but I kind of like that there. So anyways, there's no holes big enough for the dog to get his head through. Stick his head through, but it's not going to get his body through. First attempt is right there. Second attempt, third attempt. This is best and really bad. So I definitely got better as I went along. I'm going to clean them all up with the wire wheel and a flapper disc and get them a little bit nicer. That one will be going on the bottom where only the dog sees it. All right, guys, so it's Friday night. I'm up in the shop for about an hour and a half. I went ahead and mitered my sides, cleaned up those welds that were on there from when we took the rack apart. Just cutting and grinding, didn't really want to fill up the video with that, so I'm going to go ahead and get these things set up in here. But I think what I want to do, they'll sit right in between the frame quite nicely. I think what I'm going to do is I want to take this and I want to get it squared up and tacked up, take it upstairs, make sure it fits the space right, make sure it fits the space square. Okay, so this is the office where we're going to have the dogs during the day. My office. It's the funnest place to be. Okay, there we go. That was just enough to get it. So, we'll mount it to the wall over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to mount it this side here. The hinges. It's going to come along here and there'll be a little catch here. So the gate will have a catch on it that catches here. And then we can swing this thing open like this. And that same little stem on it that catches over here, we'll have another one on the wall here so it can catch open. So the thing's not swinging back and forth, whatever. So we can lock it shut, we can lock it open. So that's gonna work. Size is working out great. I'm gonna take this down. I'm gonna burn in these welds a little bit better, just so it doesn't come apart on me. I'm gonna lay those pieces in to see how that fits, and that's gonna be it for tonight. All right, so I think the next 2-3 hours of this project is going to be just welding in those corner braces, the decorative braces that we made, and then getting it all ground down, getting it painted. I'm going to put a primer on it first. I'll put a high fill primer on it, so any of those little grinder marks will help fill that in, make that look a little bit nicer. James is learning how to weld. Perfect project to learn on. Nobody's life's at risk. We're not welding on a crane. We're not, building a repair on a ship. We're building a doggy gate. If it doesn't work, it falls off and the dog gets out, and it's not the end of the world. If you want to learn how to do something, grab a project that's not that crucial and just learn on it. You're going to get 100 people tell you you're doing it wrong. That's okay. I mean, they had to learn too. So I'm just learning on my own and having fun while I'm doing it. So the idea is get in the garage, work on something. Enjoy your time in the garage, build something. And like I say, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's all right. You learned something, you had some fun, you filled some time. So get out in the project garage and get something done. No, I don't think that's bad. First welding fabrication project, I think turned out pretty good. I think I got a nice design to it. I think I got good materials in there, especially stuff I pulled out of the scrap pile. I think it looks pretty good. See how that works on the wall there. So now when we open the gate, it stays there. We don't have to worry about swinging back and forth, getting in the way if we want it out of the way. So what we want to do is we want to put a second latch on the door jamb side, or the door casing side. So when it comes this way, you can catch there. So tomorrow we'll have Mabel at the office, because I'm going to be working at the house, and going in and out, so I don't want to have her just roaming around. I'm afraid she might try to jump out a door or something. So we're gonna put her upstairs here, and I kind of like the way that works, but I'm really happy with it. It is super sturdy. She's not gonna get out of that. I like that project. All right, buddy. Let's go upstairs and see your new door. Come on. You know which way to go, don't you? Yeah. You know where you're going. You know where you're going? This way, bud. Come on. Good girl. All right. Here we go. In. Nice. Here you go. Now you can hang out with Daddy. What do you think? What do you think? You like your door? I think the door works perfect. It helps that she's beautifully trained. She doesn't even try to get through the door. I don't know. She just kind of looks at it, knows that's her barrier, and she's good with that. That concludes this project. If you liked it, give me a like, a thumbs up, comment. Let me know what you think of the doggy door. I'd love some project ideas for something else I can build, although I have no shortage of ideas on my own. Check out some of my other videos. Tune in next week. We're working back on our master bath at the house. I kind of started that one on another channel. Look forward to sharing that with you. Have a great week, guys.